A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amin ya rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope all of you are doing great. Today inshallah we are going to start the 7th lesson of section C, which is about questions. So how you ask questions in Arabic. Okay? Alright, so let's begin with some basic concepts. Alright, now there are two ways of asking questions. Now this holds true for Arabic as well as English, okay, and most of the time in Urdu as well, okay, but we are most concerned with Arabic and English right now. Okay, so in English as well, there are two ways of asking a question. First of all, you could either use a WH word. Now what is a WH word? There are words such as where, why, when, what, who. Alright, so they all begin with WH, therefore they are called the WH words. Okay, so that's how you can start a question. Alright, so where are you? Why are you reading? When will you go? What are you reading? Who are you talking to? Alright, so all of these are starting with WH. So this is one of the ways of asking a question. Now what's the other way? The other way is to begin your question with an auxiliary verb. What is an auxiliary verb? We have covered this topic a lot in the previous two sections, alright, at random points, but for the sake of a very brief overview for someone who has joined us or wants some recall or a refreshment of this concept of what auxiliary verb is, these are words such as is, was, are, am. Alright, so these are the words that help complete a sentence in English. Okay, you don't need these words in Arabic, but you do need these words in English to complete a sentence, because you wouldn't say he driving. You would always say he is driving, or he will be driving, or he was driving. Alright, so words such as is, are, am, were, so on and so forth, all of these are your auxiliary verbs. Okay, now the second way of beginning, or the second way of asking a question, is to begin that question with an auxiliary verb. For example, is that a good book? Will you be going there? Was it a tiring day? Did you know about it? Do you understand? Have they left? Alright, so you see all of these are auxiliary verbs, and they have been used to make a sentence. Okay, now usually and most often that is the case, that whenever you begin a question with an auxiliary verb, you answer them or you answer that question with clear cut yes or no. Okay, so is that a good book? No. Will you be going there? Yes. Was it a tiring day? Yes. Did you know about it? No. Okay, do you understand? No. Has it been a long year? Yes, it sure has been a long year. Have they left? No. Okay, so clear cut, straightforward yes or no answers. Okay, and this is not true, this is not always true for the WH word questions. So how are you? You could write volumes about how you are. Okay, or you could simply give a single word, fine. Okay, or not fine, whatever. Okay, so this is a tiny little point that you should be knowing about it. Okay, now what do we call a question in Arabic? Okay, so as I first told you that there are two ways of asking a question. The WH. Now the words where, when, why, all the WH words are called asma'i istifham. Okay, istifham simply means roughly to seek to understand, or simply question. Okay, so they are asma. Okay, now we already know their Arabic translation because we covered them as ism mosul back in section B. Okay, so words such as ma, man, all right, we already know these words as ism mosul. Okay, what, where, and all these things. I'm sorry, what and who. Okay, so if you are using the WH words, you'd say that you are using asma'i istifham. Okay, and if you are using an auxiliary verb to begin your question, then that would be termed as using haruf istifham to make a question. Okay, haruf and asma istifham. All right, just a bit of vocabulary for you guys. Now, it's not important to remember that it's if asma istifham or haruf istifham. It's totally alright if you don't want to remember it. Just a bit of an extra information that you might want. Okay, it could make your life easy in the coming days. Okay, now we are done with the types of two ways of asking a question. Okay, how to begin or structure a question. Now, a little concept about the types of questions. Okay, so of course there are three types of questions. One of them is the genuine questions. Okay, so these are actual genuine questions. For example, is it a good book? Where are you located? Will it rain tonight? Okay, so all of these are your actual genuine questions. Okay, now what are rhetorical questions? Rhetorical questions are the ones that are actually made to make a point, okay, or to stress on a subject. Okay, they are not exactly genuine questions. Okay, let me give you an example. Look at this one. Did I not warn you about the dangers of hiking? All right. Now, this is your seemingly a question, but it is not exactly a question because it is actually number one, making a point. What is a point? That hiking is dangerous, and the person who is speaking this or who is saying this sentence is actually someone who has already told what these dangers of hiking are. Okay, so first of all, these rhetorical questions make a point. Okay, secondly, you can see that the stress on the subject of hiking has been put here. Did I not warn you about the dangers of hiking? Somebody has perhaps broken their femur or something, and now they're being told off. Okay, so that's the scenario that's coming to our minds when we look at this example. Okay, similarly, they do not require an answer, but they invite the audience to ponder about the point being made. Okay, so once again, read this again. Did I not warn you about the dangers of hiking? Now the person or the audience is being invited to ponder upon the point of to ponder upon the subject of hiking and how dangerous it has been. All right, so that's the third thing that you should know. Similarly, they may even have a tinge of sarcasm hidden in them. Now, this one doesn't exactly show sarcasm in it, okay? But usually, or yeah, this second one does have sarcasm, okay? How many schools are you going to change before graduation? Okay, so uh, this second example is also making a point. It's also putting the stress on the subject that the person is actually changing a lot of schools. Okay, so there is a point, there's stress, there is also an invitation to the audience to ponder upon their consistent changing of the schools. Okay, and of course this question does not require an answer, nor does this one. Okay, no answer is being required over here. All right, and of course this second one has a tinge of sarcasm hidden in it. Okay, hidden in it. So this is what. And then most of the time these kind of rhetorical questions are understood via context and tone of the speaker. Okay, that's why I've underlined some of the words here. Okay, how could you do it? Okay, once again, not a genuine question that is requiring an answer, but it is a rhetorical question. Okay, so this was our. Okay, now we need to talk about the pseudo questions. What are pseudo questions? The word pseudo means false or untrue. Okay, so this is not exactly a terminology, but I have just made this arbitrarily just for the sake of convenience in relaying the concepts. Okay, so what are pseudo questions? They aren't true questions, number one. They simply use the questioning words to make the statement more expressive. Okay, so they, number one, they are not genuine questions, and number two, they are not rhetorical questions. They do not invite you to ask, or they do not invite you to ponder upon any point being made. Okay, it's just a statement. Okay, for example, do what you're told. Now you can see the questioning word over here, what, but it has been used in neither a genuine question form or rhetorical question form, or as an ism mawsul. Ism mawsul is a relative pronoun, by the way. Okay, so neither of these situations can be observed over here in this sentence. Okay, so do what you're told. So this is simply a pseudo question. It uses that word, but it is not a question in any way. Okay, all right. Second example, is it December already? Like, all right, so you can see that I have begun it with an auxiliary verb, and there is a stress on this word already. All right, it is a question, but it is a pseudo question because it is an expression that December came too early. Okay, so that's what it signifies. Why would I ever lie to you? Now, this once again is just a statement that is more expressive. Okay, so this is not a genuine question nor a rhetorical question. Okay, last, you don't know how exhausted I am. Once again, using how, which is actually a questioning word, but you have used it in a pseudo question form. It is simply a very expressive statement. Okay, so this is what rhetorical question, genuine question, and pseudo questions. Now, why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because in Quran Pak you are going to find these three categories of questions, or you could say that you are going to find these three kinds of statements where you are going to find the questioning words, the haruf istifham or the asma istifham, but their understanding would be different. Okay, I'll show you the examples and you'll understand. At this stage, at this moment, simply remember that there are rhetorical questions, genuine questions, and pseudo questions. Alright, now this is the summary of all the haruf istifham as well as the asma istifham and their various combos or combinations. Okay, so let's first study. Now I know this is a very busy slide, but I'm going to explain it chunk by chunk as I always do. Okay, so first of all, you see that there is a triangle in the middle, and let's get the pen out first. Okay, so you can see that the triangle is over here and it has three corners. First corner says asma, nouns. Okay, so asma istifham, then you have haruf istifham. All right, and then you have their combos. Okay, we'll do the combos in a bit. This lesson is going to be all about this portion. Okay, uh, once I explain to you this lower portion, okay, you'll automatically understand this portion. Okay, and we'll then move ahead. Okay, so let's do haruf istifham first. Haruf istifham, remember these are your auxiliary verbs. Okay, so hal and hamza. Okay, now we have already studied hamzatul wasl, the joining hamza. All right, and various things related to that joining hamza. Now this is another hamza and its function is to ask questions. So you could either remember it as hamza istifhamia, or you could remember it as questioning hamza. Okay, I'll go with questioning hamza. It's uh, it is going to be much easier for the beginners out there. Okay, so questioning hamza. Now I told you that it's gonna start with auxiliary verbs. Okay, so I gave you the examples in the table above. Okay, and we're going to study some more examples. At this moment, simply remember that there are two haruf and only two haruf. Haruf istifhamia, all right, and they are hal and hamza. Okay, now there are various combinations that they form, but we are going to have a look at those combinations in the next lesson, inshallah. So combos, first of all, you see that there are combos with the haruf istifhamia. Okay, what are they? They are ala. It is actually hamza or the questioning hamza with la. La means no, okay, or not. Okay, so that's what you get. Okay, so you add up these two haruf and you get ala. All right, then similarly lam is also a negative haruf, and we're going to study it in the next lesson, inshallah. Okay, but you can see that a or questioning hamza plus lam is equal to alam. Alright, so alam tara kaifa fa'ala rabbuka bi ashabil fil. Alright, so it's alam. Alright, it is not a single word, it is a combination of two words, a and lam. This is where what you get in suratul fil. Okay, alright, and then hal plus la is equal to halla. Alright, once again I'll present more examples in the next lesson. Alright, so these were your combos. Okay, now we are going to do the asma'i istifham. There are 10 of these. Okay, and let's look at this one. Alright, we already know this one. Ma means what? Okay, man is who, aina, ayana, anna, they mean where. Okay, where, and anna is also where or how come. Okay, now how they differ from each other, these subtle differences would be elaborated in the examples below. Alright, so ma, man, aina, ayana, anna. Alright, now how can you remember that aina, ayana, and anna mean where? They are just remember from aina. Alright, that aina, and another one is also beginning with the hamza, so ayana and then anna. Alright, okay, from this pentagon you already know ayun. Okay, we did this in section B. Okay, it's a special muzaf and it causes its ism or the ism right next to it to be in jar form, or you could say that this one is a special muzaf, so the ism next to it is muzaf ilayh. Okay, and of course being a special muzaf, it's going to be always light and without al. Okay, and it means which of. Now its feminine form is ayatun. Okay, so you've done these two. Then you've got mata means when, kaifa means how, kam means how much. Okay, it is kam and not kum is the nasab or jar form of your pronoun. Okay, alright, so we've got man, ma, ana, aina, ayana, mata, ayun, ayatun, kaifa, and kam. Alright, now just a brief and a quick look at their combinations. Now these combinations are actually with the prepositions. Okay, so where is, okay, so you are joining all these asma istifham with various prepositions or the haruf jar that we did in the first lesson of section B. Okay, so by now I really hope that you are pro at your prepositions. Okay, so I really hope that you know their meanings really well, because I won't be explaining each of these things in detail. I'll just it will just be a fleeting glance. Alright, so first of all, you've got ma lakum. Ma means what? Lakum. What's wrong with you? What are you playing at? What's with you? Okay, so that's what it means. What's wrong with you? Okay, alright, then li plus man is equal to liman. For whom? Okay, man. Ma plus za is equal to maza. Now this gives you the impression of what exactly. Okay, so that's how you say when you need some more elaboration. All right, and so you ask what exactly is wrong with it, or what exactly are you saying. So this implication or this essence is conveyed by maza. Okay, limaza, why exactly, or what for. Okay, why or what for, once again lima. Okay, now this was actually lima. Okay, but this little alif here was a bit too much to write for us, so we simply omitted this and it became this lima. Okay, alright, then we have fima. Fi plus ma is equal to fima. In what are you busy with, or that's how we say it in English. What are you busy in? What are you busy with? Okay, but the same thing is said as fima. What are you busy in? Okay, then we have okay, then we have min aina. Min means from, aina where. Okay, so from where. Ila mata. Now if you know the meaning of ila, you can easily guess what this means. Ila means till and mata means when, so till when or simply for how long. Okay, ila aina, where to. Ila plus ma is equal to ilama. Now once again, this is actually your ila ma. Alright, but this alif is a bit too much for us to write, so it became this ilama. How far, or up to where. Okay, min plus ma is equal to mimma, a very commonly observed or a very commonly occurring combination. Alright, then we have be plus come is equal to become. Remember, it's become and not become. Okay, so it's come. Alright, in how much. And finally, an plus ma is equal to amma. Okay, and it became it means about what. So I hope that these combinations and all these words are clear to you. Now we're going to study a couple of examples, okay, for each of these asma istifham, and then we're going to wind up the lesson, inshallah. All right, so first of all, we have our auxiliary verbs, or simply haruf istifham. So we have hamza, the questioning hamza, and then we've got hal. Okay, I've got a couple of auxiliary verbs in the meanings: is, do, did, will. Okay, so is it going to rain? Do you understand? Did you read the book? Will you be having an ice cream? Okay, so that kind of things, those kind of things. All right, so our first example is a anta salihun. You know anta, don't you? So are you, and what is this anta for? This is for singular, masculine, and for second person. All right, so anta, are you a righteous masculine, basically. Okay, so you can understand it as are you righteous. All right, and the person who the person is talking to is it's a singular and masculine person. Okay, so a guy. All right, so you can exactly mention all these things in the translation. Okay, so you would understand. From now on, I would want you to try and understand what things are in Arabic itself. Okay, don't focus too much or don't fuss about the translations. Try and see if you understand the language itself. Okay, and of course, if you get stuck with something, just take a peek at the translation and then you'll be good to go. Anyway, so anta salihun, then fatahta al baba. All right, now fatahta, I hope you have done your pattern recognition for past and present tenses really well, because this one is your pattern recognition for past tense of filmas, past tense of anta fatahta. Okay, so that's the reason I taught you the tenses, the basics of tenses, right here in this lesson. Okay, fatahta, did you open? Okay, what did you open? Al baba. Once again, this is maf'ul. Okay, so what is being opened? The door. Did you open the door? All right, next, hal. For example, an ayah from Surah Rahman, hal. Now look at it, all right, and try and work it out. I'm gonna ask you to pause the screen and then tell me what you understood. All right, so I hope that you said that this Jaza'ul Ihsani is your Muzaf Muzafile, right? Because this word Jaza'u is light and without al, and the next word is Majroor, all right? And then you've got your Haruf Ataf, and then the next word Al Ihsanu is in Rafa form, so basically the default state, okay? So it simply means, is the reward of extreme goodness anything else except extreme goodness itself? Okay, so what do you think this might be? This could be a rhetorical question, but not a genuine question. Okay, so all the blue ones, by the way, are the genuine questions, and the maroon ones are rhetorical questions. Okay, so this has to be a rhetorical question because that's what it asks. Okay, so is the, and of course, it's actually inviting the audience to ponder over the point. And what's the point being made over here? That if you do good, you're only going to get good. Okay, so there isn't anything else that you can get if you do good. Okay, so that's what. This is your rhetorical question. I hope this was clear. All right, next one is Halir Rajulu Salihun. Now, the sukoon of this lam has been replaced with kasra. Why? Because saying Hal ar-Rajulu Salihun is a bit too much. All right, because it's not as smooth as is saying Halir Rajulu Salihun. All right, so you simply remove, or rather you replace this sukoon with a kasra so that a smooth flow of speech has been facilitated. Okay, that's why. Is the man righteous? That's what it means. Okay, alrighty. Next we have the WH words. Hal and Hamza, the questioning Hamza are done, and now we're moving on with the Asma Istifhamia. Alright. Ma means what? And for example, what's that in your hand, O Musa? Alright, so pause the screen and just study this sentence well and try and see how many fragments you can identify here. Okay, because you can. Alright, then for example, you've got tilka, ism ishara, alright, and bi yaminika. Once again, this is jar majroor bi yamini, and then ka is your Jaminika is muzaf muzafile. Alright, so by now you guys should be identifying these fragments at just a single glance. Okay, so what's that in your hand? Yeah, Musa. Alright, so this is your question. Ma ismuka, what's your name? And what this ka mean or signify? It is your form from anta. Alright, the nasabujar form of anta. Alright, wama adraka ma laylatul qadri. Alright, and what do you know what the night of Qadr is? Alright, so once again, it seems to be a rhetorical question. Okay, I hope you understood this one as well. Alright, now next one. Man zallazi yashfa'u. It means yashfa'u, it means to intercede. Okay, man zallazi. Alright, so who is the one who's going to intercede? Okay, so once again, seems to be a rhetorical question. This is from Ayatul Kursi, by the way. Alright, next, Mar Rabbuka. Who's your Rabb? Okay. Alright, next we have Aina. Aina means where. For example, Aina Akhuka. Where's your brother? Akhu means Akhun actually, alright. So Aina Akhuka is where is your brother? Then Aina al Mafaru. Where is the place of escape? Now this is something that is in context to the Day of Judgment. Okay, alright, so where is the place of escape? So this seems to be a rhetorical question. Could be, alright. But now, once again, there are some things that you're going to decide upon after looking at the context and the background. Okay, so you just cannot label anything straightforwardly as this is rhetorical, this is genuine, this is pseudo question, this is blah, this is blah. No, you have to first understand the context and the background and then, put the label on. Okay, next, for aina tazhabuna. Zahaba tazhabu, it means to go. Okay, so where are all of you going? Tazhabuna, all of you going. Muzare, or present tense. Okay, anna. Anna, once again, from where or how come, or when. Okay, alright, so examples include Anna Laki Haza. This is what was said to Hazrat Maryam. Alright, and this was said to her when she used to get all those food, for all those fancy kind of food and stuff from the Jannah. Alright, so it was asked from her that Anna Laki Haza. Notice this Laki, ki, alright, remember ki, it is for auntie. Okay, so from where has this come for you? Okay, alright, then Anna Jeta, when did you come? Okay, this could be a genuine question or this could be a rhetorical question. You can't really decide. Okay, so let's label it as a genuine question. Okay. All right. Then anna lahumuz zikra. Where is the reminder for all of them? All right. So it looks to be an expression. It's not exactly a rhetorical question. It's not exactly a genuine question. It seems to be a pseudo question. Okay, and a very expressive statement. All right. Ayana. Ayana means when. For example, Ayana yawmul qiyamati. When is the day of judgment? Day of standing. Qiyamah means to stand. So the day of judgment. All right. Now, I haven't color coded it because it could be any of those. It could be a genuine question or it could be a rhetorical question. Depends upon the context and the background. Okay. All right. Next we have mata, which means when, and mata nasrullahi. Okay, this is something that the companions of Rasulullah asked him when they were facing really cruel conditions and hostility in Mecca during the early days. Okay, so they asked him, when is the help of Allah going to arrive? Okay, Mata Nasrullahi. All right. Next we have Ayun. Ayun is a special muzaf, and we already know this. And it also means which. Okay, so ayyukum. What is kum? It is your antum. Okay, nasab or jar form of antum. Which of all of you? Okay, or simply which of you all. Ayyul fariqaini. It means two groups. Al fariqaini, majrur form, and of course this is your special muzaf. Ayyul fariqaini, which of the two groups? All right. Once again, they seem to be genuine questions. Then, of course, I told you I dissected this entire ayah for you guys in section B, so I hope you have understood it well. And fabi ayyi. Now, fa is your harf ataf, b is your harf jar, ayyi is right here. All right, and now this b and ayyi is jar majrur, and then this ayyi and ala e is your muzaf and muzaf, special muzaf and muzaf ilayh. Okay, so it would mean, so in which of the blessings or gifts of both of your Rabb are you going to deny? Okay, fabi ayyi ala'i rabbikuma tukaziban. All right, so I hope that this is now clear, inshallah. All right, come. Come means how much. Now there are two ways of using this come. First of all right, there are three ways. First of all, you could either use it with jumla fi'liya, which would be quite straightforward. Come labistum fil arzi. For how long did you all stay on earth? Okay, that's how you ask it in English, and that's how you ask it in Arabic. All right, so this is the word-to-word translation. How much did you stay in the earth? Fi. All right, but in English you're going to replace it with on. So for how long did you all stay on earth? All right, now if you're using it in jumla ismiya and you're asking a genuine question, then you're going to make its ism as wahid, nakra, and nasab. What does it mean? It simply means that you're going to use it in isman form. Kitaban, rajulan, qalaman. Alright, so it's all going to be wahid, nakra, and nasab. Okay, so for example, kam kitaban indaka, how many books do you have? It's a very genuine question. Why? Because the word is in isman form or kitaban form. Okay, wahid, nakra, nasab. All right. If it is going to be used as a rhetorical question in Jumla Ismiya, then you are going to make sure that the ism is without al. Okay, it is al less. Okay, so for example, kam min qariyatin, min qariyatin. And yeah, of course, it is going to be a majrur ism, and it is going to be followed by your harf jar. Okay, so kam and then harf jar, then your al less majorism, and then whatever the rest of the sentence is. Okay, so it would be kam min qaryatin ahlaknaha. So how many from the previous generations have we destroyed? This is a rhetorical question. Okay, so I hope that you understood this one as well, that the word If the ism is going to be not nasab, but it's going to be in jar form, and if it is going to be without al following come, then this has to be your rhetorical question. All right, now the last one, kaifa means how. Okay, so you've got a very genuine question here, that kaifa anta, how are you? Okay, and the next one is quite rhetorical, that kaifa takfuruna billahi. Takfuruna, I hope you identify this as the antum takfuruna. Okay, because it has the prefix of the, all right, and it has una, so this is simply your present tense, antum. Okay, so takfuruna billahi, how can you all disbelieve in Allah? Okay, this has to be a rhetorical question. Okay, because nobody can generally ask you that. Anyway, so this was our last one, and just before I wind up the lesson, let's just look at a couple of answers that are used to say yes. Okay, so first of all, you've got na'am, it means yes, and it is a response to a question. Okay, for example, Zaidun Salihun, is Zaid pious? Na'am, yes. Then you've got E. It is in response to a question, but it must be followed by an oath. Okay, so for example, you've got an example from Surah Yunus, and it says, it's only a little part of the ayah. Okay, and I've put some punctuation marks over here just to segregate the different parts that I'm going to show you here. Okay, it's a continuous ayah and just a simple little portion of the ayah. Anyways, so it says ahaqqun huwa. They ask you, is this truth? Qul, yes. I'm sorry, qul, say, yes. Wa rabbi. Now this wa, I hope you remember that it is a harf jar, and it is used to make an oath. Okay, this wa is not uh, your harf ataf. Okay, and why am I saying that? Why am I so confident? Because you've got an e behind it. Okay, so you've got a question, all right, and then you've got e as a response, and then you have got wa. Okay, so it means that it has to be your wa of oath. Okay, so they ask you, is this truth? Say, yes, by my Rabb, indeed it is the most definite truth. Okay, now why am I'm translating it this way? Because you've got innahu and then you've got lahaqqun. This la here has caused this kind of stress. Okay, so we'll be studying how to put stresses, different kinds of stresses in a sentence, inshallah. Okay, after this negative lesson, after the next lesson, which is all going to be about the negative sentences and everything. Okay, but at this moment, simply remember that this kind of definition, this kind of translation has been made because of la. Okay, so ahaqqun huwa, qul wa rabbi innahu lahaqqun. Okay, is this truth? Say, yes, by my Rabb, indeed it is the most definite truth. Okay, that's how it's going to be understood as. Okay, and the last one is actually our ajal, jaira, and inna. Okay, now they are not said in response to a question but a statement or a news. Okay, so for example, you ask someone that has not has you simply say to someone, that has come to you. Okay, or you have a book, or you have my book. Okay, so for example, if one of your friends has your book, okay, and you know about it, and you tell them that they have your book. Okay, so they're going to say, yes, I do have your book. Okay, so that's the kind of uh, scenario over here. Qad ataka zaidun, Zaid has come to you. This is not a question, this is a simple statement. Okay, or a news. Okay, so Zaid has come to you, you're gonna say yes. Okay, ajal. Now you could also use jaira or inna for these situations. Okay, but I would want you to stick with ajal. Okay, so well, these were your asma and huruf istifham with some examples, and now you're going to head to the worksheets for practice, inshallah. I hope that you have understood this lesson. I would really want you to memorize this summary illustration. It is, it tells you everything. Okay, so it's a good summary chart. You can print it out too. Okay, so I hope this was clear. In the next lesson, inshallah, we are going to do the negative particles, or simply how to make negative sentences or negative questions. Okay, so questions such as, did I not tell you to do it? Or something like that. Okay, so that's how we're going to these are the kind of questions that we're going to see in the next lesson, and we're going to make some negative statements. For example, is this book, or for example, this is not a book. Okay, for example. So these are the kinds of things that we're going to study in the next lesson, and by that time I would really ask you to practice your tenses, your section B and A stuff, and this questions lesson. Okay, keep on practicing. You're doing great. So I'll take your leave till then. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al Hakim. Allah Hafiz.